A working farm wife for most of her life, Laura Ingalls Wilder would not publish the first of her popular Little House books until she was in her 60s. She wrote this letter to her husband when she went west to visit her daughter Rose. Letter written on September 21st, 1915, from San Francisco. Manly dear, yesterday I saw the dogs of all nations and was rather disappointed in them. There was some interesting ones, among them some of Prairie's team who went to the North Pole. Then there was an Irish wolfhound, which Fred, the man in charge, said was very rare. The one we saw was as large as a yearling steer and was only 13 months old then. They said he was worth $3,000, perhaps like Mr. Quigley's $1,000 one, but this one was certainly a monster. It seemed impossible that it could be a dog and be so large. We saw some fine Percheron horses and some Belgian horses and the dearest little Hungarian ponies. They are the size of Shetlands. One was a dapple gay with silver mane and tail. He was beautiful. The man said he was worth $500. While he was having the pony play around on the end of the halter, a man came by with a very large Belgian horse, and they looked so funny they passed by each other. There are some lovely Kentucky race and riding horses, and believe me, they can all have their automobiles that they want. I would have had a Kentucky riding horse if I could afford it. And oh, I saw the carnation milk cows being milked with a milking machine, and it milked them clean, and the cows did not object in the least. The man in charge took your address as if you could get any literature to be sure and save it, for this machine is certainly a success, and I can tell you about it when I come. I have had a trip on the bay out in the sunset. It was wonderful, and the more the boat rolled on the waves, the better I liked it. I did not get dizzy at all. We went out to the highest fort in the world and around the quarantine station on Angel Island and then back to the anchorage. The fog rolled up and came down, and we could see the land in any direction. The ocean swell came through the Golden Gate and rocked the boat, and we could imagine we were way out in the ocean. It was just a little steam yacht we were on, and Rose and I stood in the front and let the spray and the mist beat onto our faces. And when the wind blew our hair and clothes and the boat roll under the feet, it was simply glorious. Since then, we have taken a ferry boat and gone down to the Bay of Sausalito. We took a loaf of bread with us and threw it to the seagulls, and they followed us clear across the bay. We would throw a piece of bread out, and they would try to catch it, but it usually fell into the water, and then they would drop down after it and squall and try to get it away from each other. I enjoyed the boat ride very much, but it was not so good as the other because the boat was larger and would not pitch. We got off at Sausalito and stayed over 2 boats. We walked around the town, which is built all up and down the sides of the hills, and the streets are crooked, and no 2 houses built on the same level. It is a beautiful place. It was getting twilight when we took the boat back, and we went out and up the path of the moon on the waves. We counted 31 ships and small motorboats anchored in the harbor as we came away. It was a beautiful sight, and we stood on the deck as close as we could to get to the water all the way home. The lights of the exposition made it look like fairyland, and the lights of the city rising on the hills, row after row behind, linked all the stars into one. Cannot tell whether the lights stopped and the stars began. San Francisco is a beautiful, wonderful city, and the people in it seem so friendly. I mean, the people one meets on the street who are perfect strangers. There seems to be a spirit of camaraderie and informality among men and women alike. I thought it was because of the fair, but Rose says it is always that way. Perhaps it is because of the fire, when they all got so well acquainted. Sunday, we went for a 12-mile streetcar ride in all directions over the city, and it cost a nickel apiece because of transfers. We saw the old mission that was the first of San Francisco, founded by the priest who put the stone cross on the hill for the ships at sea. This old mission church is decorated by the Indians of those early days. The rafters and beams of the ceiling are stained in Indian designs. and the pictures and the wall decorations are the work of the Indians also. Before the mission runs the King's Road, which reached all up and down the coast, it was traveled in those days by the priests as they went from one mission to another, and of course by Indians and others. There were bells on the highest points, and there is a system of ringing the bells in such a way as to carry news from point to point so that it could travel up and down the coast. After we left the mission, we went out 5 miles to where they are starting a new suburb of the city. There is a beautiful view of the bay. Then we came back through the butcher town and past the China Basin and uptown again, where we stopped at the moving picture show and saw Charlie Chaplin, who is horrid. I mean, we saw him act in the pictures. I am tired and must go to bed early so I can go to San Jose tomorrow. Besides, I must leave something to tell you when I come home, or you will not be glad to have me. Lovingly, Bessie. The foghorn on Alcatraz is crying out at regular intervals, so it must be that the fog is getting thick. Every few minutes I hear the bellows of a steamer's whistle as it comes in or meets and passes another boat. The foghorn on Alcatraz is the most lonesome sound I have ever heard, and I don't see how the prisoners on that island can stand it. That letter was published in Letters of the Century from September 1915, narrated by Conan Stewart for Tales Reawakened on YouTube.